When you think of getting rich, what image comes to your mind? Is it luxury goods, crazy experiences, or maybe just the stability of having a house and being able to retire comfortably? Long term wealth, believe it or not, is easy, but it's not necessarily fast. When I used to play GTA Online in my youth, I was obsessed with the idea of passive income. I would grind that game like crazy to have the optimal businesses and setups that would allow me to make money while I'm just screwing around driving my cars. But little did I know, if I studied the real life meta, there was actually ways to achieve the same thing. Except, instead, you are earning real life gains versus virtual ones. And there is no better feeling, my friends, than going to bed at night knowing your money is working for you and that there will constantly be more of it on the way. I am not here to sell you a course or anything like that. I'm just here to share with you the truth. Video games help me understand the importance of using virtual money to make more of it, but learning how to transition that understanding into real life was what changed everything for me. And you can easily adjust your lifestyle to do this too if you are serious about making more money for less effort. And good news, financial success can be worked toward even if you have a low-paying job, so there is no reason why you can't start the instructions in this video as soon as today. As I mentioned earlier, financial success is quite easy, but you need to be willing to make some changes to how you live your life and take some time to set these systems up. First, we will be going over the process of identifying where the money you make ends up, for the sake of discussing how to both save some of it while also having enough to have fun. We'll discuss credit cards, and I'll be briefly warning about some of the dangers of taking on debt via loans or the card itself. And then I will lay the blueprint for a multi-year plan to begin growing your passive income higher and higher. This plan being savings, investments, and a guide on how to invest as soon as today. This will give you the potential to retire as a multimillionaire if you are in your early 20s, or with several $100,000 if you are older, while simultaneously still having the money to do things you love before you retire. But again, only if you act on this advice. And guys, I know this video might end up a little more overwhelming than some of my others, but believe me, this is one of the most important things you should figure out as soon as possible, as these decisions can literally be the difference between working late into old age and retiring with so much money that you can do whatever you want. Please rewatch or pause as much as possible until this information clicks, and please subscribe if this content helps you change your life. Getting right into it, we need to determine exactly where our money ends up. Whether you make $7.25 an hour or $50 an hour, you should have a total value of money that comes in that you can then decide how to spend, otherwise known as your net pay. Now, a large majority of people will spend their paycheck on essential expenses such as housing, food, and electricity, and then the rest of their paycheck goes into fun things like food, video games, nights out, etc. This next part may seem boring, but it is very important. I need you to honestly and objectively look at your total amount of take-home pay and then figure out exactly where your money is going. The reason why this matters is because this video is going to show you how to explode your earnings through a combination of savings and investments, meaning that if you don't currently have money set aside for either of these things, there is no way that you can get there. However, the beautiful thing is that you can do this and not hate your life simultaneously, which is why these percentages matter. I would recommend trying to put anywhere between 30 to 65% of your take-home money into fixed costs, depending on how much you need. This means rent, groceries, gas, internet, things you need that you know you will need to pay for. So now, what about this remaining amount? If you can swing it, set aside 10% for investments and then an additional 5 to 10% for savings. These two amounts, while small, will make you insanely rich over the next few years if you make a routine out of this habit. Don't worry, both maximizing savings and investment gains will be talked about in the next section. So then, back on track, what about the remaining 20% or so? That, my friend, is your guilt-free spending money. This is money that you can spend on anything for any reason and not feel bad about it. Do you want to go get a $100 dinner? Go for it. Do you want to buy a Gucci shirt for $400? Great, go get it. The idea is that you should be able to buy anything you want and not feel bad about it. But it must fall within the set-aside money category, meaning that you can feel happy and guilt-free about your purchase because you have contributed to your future passive income and have paid for all the essentials. And guys, you don't need to stick really hard to these percentages. Find the ones that work for your income. For me, I actually live in a cheaper apartment to lower my fixed costs closer to 40%, meaning I end up prioritizing my savings more while still having good guilt-free spending money. Just make sure you have an investment and savings pile set aside, and are separating your fun purchases from your fixed costs, and you are golden. This next section is specifically for people who regularly take on credit card debt or have something such as a car loan or student loan you're paying off. The investing and savings section starts here if you have no debt and want to get right into it. Otherwise, you will not regret watching this section if you currently carry debt. Credit cards are actually really awesome and offer a ton of benefits. You usually get free money or other rewards such as flight credit by using one, and you get purchase protection to reverse a transaction easier versus it coming directly out of your bank account through debit. Plus better credit score if you pay it off on time, which gives you better deals on a mortgage or loans. The problem is that many people use these things like an infinite money glitch, even though it's far from it. Many people just want to buy tons of stuff or take vacations with money that they don't currently have, which will increase your credit card debt. But there's two problems with this. The first is that, yes, there is interest and you're going to pay more over time versus if you had the money to begin with. But in my opinion, the real bigger problem here is that it makes you a slave. And it makes giving up on the world a lot easier because you know that your next 3 to 6 months of paychecks are accounted for and you gotta pay back your debts. Instead, you should use a credit card like a debit card, meaning you gain the rewards, but you know you have enough money in your bank account to pay it off every month. It takes a level of self-control to accomplish this, but not only will you be saving tons of money, you will also have the mental stability of knowing you don't need to work months in advance for something you bought now. At this point, you might be thinking, well, what about car, school, or house loans? These are a very personal choice because maybe you have a family and want a permanent residence, or want to spend money to earn a job that makes more money, or maybe you just need a reliable vehicle. But overall, I would say calculate the interest rate against the price and get a real understanding of how much extra you will need to pay by being in debt. Although I have loaned a car in the past, since my old one broke down and I unfortunately had no other choice, I paid it off in a year as it had a 9% interest rate, which would have costed me thousands of extra if I didn't pay it off quickly, with me choosing to lower my fund money expenses to get it done. Take loans for important things if they are needed, but just make sure you have a plan, and then make sure you take the percentage figure of how much you are going to pay back every paycheck, even if it means less fun or investing money, and just get it done. If I haven't made this clear, please do not go $5,000 into debt because you want the newest MacBook Pro and iPhone. Only get loans on necessities and make sure the fees do not kill you. It makes following the steps of part 1 so much easier, not having to include debts in your essential expenses category. Now, at this point, you know how to identify where your money is going and set aside money for savings and investing, as well as you know how to not buy things you can't afford and to prioritize paying the debts you have with the goal of being debt-free. So let's get down to IRL passive income and how this all works. This is where it gets good. Let's start with savings. We want to keep savings for emergencies or to have money available for a future important purchase. But the simplest trick I learned is to start putting your money into a HYSA, or a high-yield savings account. Here's the math on why this matters. In a normal savings account, you get paid pennies while the bank makes tons of money investing your savings. Don't you think you deserve a little more than that? High-yield savings accounts are no joke, and they function exactly the same as a normal savings account, except now you actually make decent money. The rates change constantly depending on the economy, but at my current rate, I've been making back 3.65% of my savings balance paid monthly. To make this easier to understand, if you have $10,000 in emergency savings at 3.65% APY, you will literally make one free dollar every single day, or $365 over the course of a year. Or imagine if you had $100,000 in that account. You would make $10 every single day while doing literally nothing. This is legitimate, true passive income, and even if your savings isn't massive, you are literally throwing away free money by keeping your savings in a regular account with a garbage rate. This is passive money hack number 1, and it's a must for getting extra money while your balance sits. Now time for the really good part. Let's get into the investing portion. Feel free to pause this at any of these sections to follow the steps yourself, and please stick with me. This will get wordy, but this is the key to getting rich and achieving long-term financial stability. You might have just looked at those savings numbers and thought it was good, but maybe you would want something much more than that. And you would be right. The reason why banks can give something like 3.65% is because they are investing the money themselves and making much, much larger returns. So how do you do this yourself, skipping the bank entirely? The easiest answer is to invest in index funds and S&P 500 companies. This is basically a stock collection of the largest and most successful companies, meaning if Facebook had a bad day, you don't lose everything because other companies are keeping everything going. The average tends to be between 7 to 10% gain of your account value being returned to you by the end of the year. Keep in mind, though, that these numbers can wildly vary. For instance, the market actually lost people 20% of their value in 2022, but then in 2023, it gained back 24.23%. Regardless, if we see a market crash or not, these accounts have been proven to recover and overall bring you much more money than if you didn't have one. So my recommendation is to just take that percentage that you have set aside for investing and get it into the market so it can begin earning for you while you sleep. Do not try to time the market. Just put it in every month. The younger you are, the better, as time is what makes you rich. So somebody who starts this at 20 is going to make astronomically more money than somebody who is 30. And the guy who starts at 30 is going to make much more than the guy who starts at 40. So do not neglect starting this and just get started. So how do you actually get started though? And for part 3, how to actually do this. I recommend going to the websites Fidelity or Vanguard to invest in these accounts, leading to the king of accounts I recommend you create for investing in. This is the Roth IRA. You can create it for free on Fidelity and Vanguard, and once the account is made, you can immediately start investing into index funds. There are tons of different types of investment accounts, so why am I recommending the Roth IRA specifically? To put it simply, a lot of these investment accounts have hefty withdrawal penalties until you retire, meaning you may be losing a ton of your gains to taxes with most account types should you decide you want to withdraw some of your money before you hit retirement age. But the Roth has a special rule. The rule is that you are allowed to take out any money you've already put in, 100% tax and fee free, and use it for whatever you would like. In case I didn't make that last point clear enough, this means that say you put $20,000 into your Roth IRA, and the balance grows to $100,000 over time. If you need some emergency money, you can then take $20,000 back out 100% free, while the remaining $80,000 continues to make you passive income. Meaning you are only going to get taxed if you take out more money than what you have put in. If this sounds like a busted exploit to you, it is, and that's why the government has patched it, allowing you to only put in so much money per year. As of 2026, you can't do more than $7,500 in a single year. So I would take the money you are setting aside for investing and drop it in this account and invest that balance into index funds. And depending on your website, these are the things you should be looking for and you should be buying. Oh, and one more thing on investing accounts. Let's super quickly talk about the standard 401k. This is what your employer should provide you to allow you to take money before taxes and invest. This is huge, guys, gigantic. The money you put into your Roth is good because you can take out the initial amount you put in. But remember, you already paid taxes on all your other income to even get that money in the first place. That 20 to 30% that the government takes from your paycheck, it hasn't even happened yet if you put money in a 401k, making it so you can get way bigger returns for the amount you're putting in. The 401k has a $24,500 contribution limit currently, meaning if you can put in more money to retire, it's a great option, but keep in mind you will not be able to get any of your gains out of this until closer to retirement age. Or if you do, you will face a severely heavy penalty, deleting tons of your money. Oh yeah, and a lot of employers will even match you to give you more free money on top of what you put in. There is absolutely no reason why you should not be using this. Okay. I know that was a ton of information, so please go back and rewatch any of this as many times as needed and feel free to ask questions in the comments. Yeah, I get that this isn't exactly as fun as setting up a nightclub in GTA to bring you income, but this video is not about easy dopamine. This video is about seriously getting rich while still having money to enjoy the little things in life. This is the way to make serious money, guys, and all you need to do is 1. Change your habits to what I taught about paycheck percentages and not getting into huge debt. And 2, put the money in the high yield savings account. Put the money in the investment account. That is it. And then you can close your laptop and phone and go sing Kumbaya in the woods while your money multiplies. I don't expect you to max the 2 of these accounts every year, but if you are making a salary capable of it, you absolutely should be considering it. And if you feel like you aren't saving or investing enough with your current job status, you might need to find a way to make more money. I have a video up on how to start making money via your own methods, and I'll be making one in the future about making money via career progression if you would rather go to the traditional route for getting rich. Just remember, even if you are minimum wage, this money will grow, so get started ASAP. Keeping this habit and not dropping it is very important for your future wealth. Your future self will love and thank you when they have enough money to take regular vacations on the beach. And please do subscribe if this genuinely helped you and you are looking for more advice on life-changing advice like this. I appreciate you all very much and thank you so much for watching.